Welcome to the second week of Call to Arms. Based on your feedback, we deploy the following changes to the event. Score threshold for all activities have been adjusted. Numbers abbreviated for readability. Salt mines, top 1%, 3.371 million. Top 10%, 2.405. Crucible, top 1%, 13,518. Top 10% is 12,327. I think this was like 13,6 something earlier today before this change. Coil, top 1%, 2.9 million. Top 10%, 2.4 million. Heliostat, 2.9. Top 1%, top 10%, 2.44. Proving Grounds, top 1%, 2.97. Was like it was like, I think just straight up 3 million. And then top 10%, 2.437. Now, score thresholds below 10% have also been adjusted to further open up eligibility for the shader and transmat rewards. The PvE changes are designed to protect the challenge of claiming the event's top emblem reward, but we also feel it's necessary to address the 550 power players that have been adversely affected by lower score bugs introduced alongside our power equalization changes. Yeah, so essentially there's a bug right now that says like if you're 550 power, you could be scoring less than your 549 peers or 548 peers. The PvP change is designed to address the several reports we're seeing of players coming in just a few points short after completing very high scoring games. There was a number of people this morning saying that they were just shy of a point, some 1 point, some even 3 points. We want to open this pool up slightly to encompass these players. To prevent further impact of the power changes, the call to arms score thresholds have now been locked. That right there, that's massive. That's the big, out of everything you see here, that's the biggest thing. What that really means is your scores, the goalpost is not going to continue to move. It's locked. Actual cave-in. Now this may bring it up, but Cross, does this mean I'm actually a top 1% gamer? Well, if you got top 1% before this update just went live, which it just went live, then yes. After this point though, maybe you're more of like a top 2% gamer. You know what I mean? Dare I say 3% gamer. We're also planning to deploy a live update that introduces the following call to arm changes. Decrease the cost of tier 1 revive tokens and upgrades from Riven at the start of the coil activities. Tier 1 revive tokens changed to 25 wishing glass, previously 100. Other tier 1 dragons wishes upgrades changed to 50 wishing glass, previously 100. Tier 2 and 3 upgrades and revive tokens will remain unchanged. Expanded the interact radius of the daily shipment chest to address reports that its interface isn't showing. We unfortunately can't address the following issues in time for this event. The team has been exploring how to address the impact of high value target spawns in the salt mines activity. We plan to factor them in for consistent scoring in the future call to arm events. I have not done enough of the salt mines event, but at least it's to my understanding that the high value target is completely RNG, but can make a big difference in your scoring. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's very rare. Now, the call to arms tooltips indicates the incorrect number of competitive points required to earn the next percentile for above average, top 30% and top 10%. The correct values are 5, 10, and 50 points respectively. We appreciate your continued feedback and patience with this first call to arms, and we'll apply these changes to future events. The competitive spirit is dead. How do we feel, guys? How do we feel? Lame. LW since it's bugged. I don't care. Indifferent TBH. This is dumb. I think, and this is just my opinion on this, Bungie, I think that you were getting a lot of pressure from people. And yes, there was some bugginess to the event too, which erodes the competitive nature of it. I just think that what would fix some of this issue is whether or not you had different levels to these items. I know this is more work, but perhaps instead of it being, you know, you either get this helmet or you don't, you still have that process, but maybe a top 1% version of this helmet had a little more flair. Maybe it's got multiple flames coming out the back of it or something. You know what I mean? We even brought this up for the emblem. Like, what if the emblem had multiple levels? Because like getting 310 points, although it is difficult and something to be proud of, you know, what if there was a different emblem or a variation to this same emblem at 600 and a variation to that same emblem at 900 and then 1200, and like 1200 could be the peak, and that's like topping out and like you mastered multiple activities here. We need animated emblems. Perhaps. The point is like, I don't know your thoughts on that. It would make people that even if you are a, you know, say a top 10% gamer, you still feel like you win, which you did. You earned that. Hell, maybe even a top 30% gamer. But then like this aesthetic of this helmet evolves and changes based on your percentile placing. Then everyone would just want the cooler one. At some point, Bungie's going to have to look at the community and tell you guys and myself, get good. And I just don't, I mean, look, that conversation was had many years ago. It's the reason why pinnacles were removed from the game. But leaderboards, they're not meant to coddle you. For instance, Arc Raiders, last week, I didn't do my trials. I did just enough to stay at the same rank. But had I not done it, I would have dropped a rank. And, you know, it requires you to put in a certain amount of hours each week in order to continue to progress up the rankings. There's no sense of competitiveness in a competitive event. I just think that Bungie could learn a lot from this event. And I just think that there needs to be, because you do have people complaining, and some even rightfully so, given the fact that there were bugs in this event, guys. There are bugs present. And then, of course, the power level. A lot of people upset that the power level had such a huge influence on your scoring. All right, maybe just have variations to these top rewards. Like this could be the base version of the helmet, but then there's like the top 10% or the top 1% version of it. Same with the emblems here, you know what I mean? Now, will there still be people complaining and being like, dude, I wanted the helmets with fucking 3 flames, and I just got the helmet with the 1 flame. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, at least you got a fucking helmet. You know, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like, at least you got a fucking helmet. All right? You don't have 3 flames. You get the 1 flame. And if you're top 1%, you get 3 flames. Top 5% or whatever, you get 2. Give us a fire cape for 1,500 points. Top 1% in all activities. I'm going to be honest. If anybody's ever actually gotten the fire cape in here inside of RuneScape, and yes, I know there's even more aspirational pieces of gear beyond that. But at one time, fire cape was it. Getting 1,500 points in this, although quite the task, still does not equal the amount of time commitment, frustration, execution that the fire cape presented inside of RuneScape. I don't know. I don't think Destiny players are in for that kind of a ride. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not really forcing something or asking for something like that to be forced. But it would have been interesting, sure, if there was like an ultimate gear chase or an ultimate flex if you got 300 in every single one of these categories. I think at the end of the day, Destiny community, it's not the end of the world if you don't get a simple cosmetic. You know, that being either this helmet or that being this emblem. I think we do need to have aspirational gear chases. We're not even talking like Mountaintop or Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl, which had a hard barrier. Whereas like, if you don't get enough of a rank inside of comp, you can't get these items, which in those items would make you substantially better at the game. This is just cosmetics. I really think this competitive component is a hit. Look at us bitching about who deserves what. It's fucking beautiful. I will say for me, for the event, it has pulled me in. Like I'm like enjoying this process of getting to top 1%. And you know, will me wearing this helmet be diminished by other Guardians wearing the helmets? I mean, probably. It depends how many Guardians, I suppose. You know what I mean? This was meant for top 10% gamers. This is meant for top 1%. With the locked scores here, question is which one of these, what is this now dipping into? You know what I mean? Top 12%, top 15%, top 2%, top 3%. I don't care. I'm grinding just to be top 1%. I think it's still a feat to be proud of, guys. Yeah, I think like if you're still doing this event and you're trying to get top 1% in a category, I think it's still a feat to be proud of, especially if you get something across the board. It's the thing, though. There are casual players and there are comp players. Right. But I'm just pointing out that it's not like this event was keeping you from earning a pivotal piece of gear that would have given you an advantage in future content. It's not like the shader or emblem or helmet here was going to make your character better. It was purely a flex item to show your commitment and skill. It's only cosmetics. If you're casual, why do you care about flex cosmetics? That's a great point. That's a fantastic point. If you're casual, why do you care about flex cosmetics? That is a good point. It's insane to me. Can I ask, like, where is the negativity toward this event in regards to content being locked out or gear being locked out? Where is this spawning from the most? Is this like a Bungie forum thing? I haven't even looked at Destiny Reddit. Is this a Destiny Reddit thing? 100% Reddit. They have a hate boner for the game right now. Let's just get a poll in here. Do you think the dates changes to the score thresholds and the announcement Bungie's made was this a good or bad change for the event? And understand, how you vote is probably how Bungie's going to decide how Call to Arms is going to be conducted in future drops, which we will have again in another 6 months. Why can't we have a leaderboard? Why can't Bungie just let us have one thing to grind for? Leaderboards are pretty nice, dude. I will say, like in things like Arc Raiders, you see exactly where you sit for that week and you're given category and you're given rank. You see, where am I ranked? And you know, it's nice looking at that thing and you know, seeing you're in the top 10 or something, you know, feels good, man. All right, it's rolling in now. The poll is coming in hot. 71% of gamers say yes. Is Reddit here with us right now? Or the Redditors in the room with us at this very moment? Oh, man. Cross, there a leaderboard for stuff in RuneScape? I don't know much about the game. Oh, yeah, 1000%. 1000%. Let me tell you something about RuneScape. You have a definitive best player in the game. And normally it's like, it's XP driven. So when I was playing RuneScape many years ago, Zazima was the best player in the world. And so when people would see him log on or in the world, people would just follow him everywhere and just fucking like straight just follow him. Like he'd be sitting there just like mining a rock. And people are like, oh my God, it's a Zima. And like people, you know, people just lose their fucking mind. You know what I mean? And but it was definitively, you were definitively the #1 player. And eventually like he dropped and someone took his place. But I mean, he held that title for so long. It would have to be an unreal amount of grind time from him. Yeah. And there's actually a YouTube video out there of like the top players in RuneScape, how long they held the spots. And it's crazy, man. Like the fact that like, it's crazy how fast some people can grind up 99s in that game. And when a new skill drops is when you really see like how good someone is at RuneScape, because it all comes down to like, it's a new skill, so you haven't seen it yet. Who has the best optimal path to getting to 99? And some people have different strategies. And so they're competing.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.